Well, welcome everybody. I am so excited to be here today. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2020, and this is your virtual financial team prosperity training. I'm really excited to be here with my husband, Mike Amos. I've got some overview stuff that I wanted to go over, a few tips and announcements, and I know he's got a great presentation for us that I'm really excited to see. So let me go ahead and grab my stuff so we can take a look at it. All righty. So the beginning of July, I can't believe, how fast this year has flown by. It's a really, really exciting time in our business right now, and I hope that you all are feeling it too. So I wanted to go over a few quick reminders and tips, things that have come up through the week that I've had a lot of questions about. The first thing, if you all are using WealthWave, they have a great training that happens an hour before our training, this training right now. And if you're in the Team Prosperity Facebook group, which is a closed private group for our team, you should be seeing these announcements with the links. If you're not in the group, you should definitely get in the group. So let me know, and I'm happy to send you the invite. But everybody, on this call should already be in there, hopefully. Next week, we're going to be hearing about our new E&O options, which is pretty exciting. I've had a lot of questions about this. I will not know until they start email communications a week from today. So we're going to have a few weeks, to learn about it together and see what kind of cool new options we have. So I'm looking forward to that. And then checking your WFG alerts regularly. If you don't hit on My Business right there when you log in, you're not going to see this. So when you log into My WFG, you want to hit on My Business and just make sure that your lifeline is showing that green thumbs up, that it's all good. This will alert you if you have something expiring, like a license or an anti-money laundering or something that you need that would keep you, from having any issues. So definitely, once a week, take a peek in there, make sure it's looking all good like this. And you're going to notice, things are still kind of hectic with the whole COVID-19 thing. People are worried about their retirement, their money. A lot of people are looking for something to do from home. We're calling this a warm market roundup. So when people are panic shopping for life insurance, we want to let them know that we have a ton of options, including living benefits. If they're under 55, they've got some non-med options all the way up to $1 million. It's pretty amazing right now. And remember, living benefits can be used for a bunch of different things. When people get money, they can use it for anything, to pay their mortgage. It's a great mortgage protection, the best. No one has to die to have that mortgage paid off. It will cover any gap in health insurance, income protection, asset protection, any kind of investments that they wouldn't have to pull money from if they got money, if they had some kind of event. They wouldn't have to disturb their kids' college funds or their savings. It's also a great key man policy where the key man or the key woman doesn't have to die to get replaced. They could, have an event like a heart attack or a disability or, heaven forbid, anything like that and have money to be replaced. So a lot of great options. And I definitely want everybody that is paying for E&O and platform fees, and of course getting that reimbursement for all of it if you're writing business. But a part of it is having your own advisor registration for Legacy Shield, which is, pretty cool. So again, this is under My Business, under Salesforce. And you have to view all. You have to hit like the little checker box thing to view all and look at your custom links, which is going to be Legacy Shield. You could see it's, one of the many different selections. And you can go right in there and get your advisor registration done. So if you all need this slide, let me know. If you need help with this, let me know, or let your upline SMD know. Another exciting thing is Hawaii. Every year there's at least 2 trips that WFG does. They just announced the Ireland trip, and then this just came out at the beginning of the month, or at the beginning of last month, so we're a month into this Hawaii contest right now, and they're going to be taking 500 couples on the main trip and 30 couples on the elite trip. So they're bringing over 1,000 people. So this is definitely an exciting thing that you can, qualify for. They're taking the top 5 who joined, this year after January, top 20 super team, top 75 super base, and top 370 SMB base shops. So pretty cool. And then for the elite trip, you could see it's like the top 10, 15, and 5, base, super base, and super team. Obviously, you have to be in good standing and have a good net point ratio, which is never an issue. And I love this slide right here. I just wanted to remind everybody that everything we do, we can do on our cell phone. It's pretty amazing, from the CRM to all of your web assets, to going into WFG and setting up, doing an illustration, e-signing an application. There's a ton of stuff, like everything you can do on your phone. The only thing I can't do on my phone is give a presentation like this because I haven't quite learned how to do that yet, and I enjoy doing it from a big computer. But your business is really at your fingertips, at the speed of light from anywhere. So if you have, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, try to utilize it. Try to use every single minute of the day. That's what I'm trying to do. If I have 13 minutes between appointments, I'm going to do something for my business. So I'm trying to retrain my brain. So anyway, I love this John Wooden quote. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you need a team. It's absolutely true because, I can do things that you can't and you can do things that I can't, and together we make a great team. So that's one of the cool things, one of the many cool things here, at Virtual Financial. You don't have to wear every hat. You can kind of grow into the different roles. So that's really, really exciting. And one idea that I'm going to share with you before I bring up Mike here in just a minute, this happened on a call from yesterday, and there was no way that I could be direct with this person without being rude. So he was telling me about how he had lost his job in April, and luckily in May, he was one out of 900 people that was picked for a new position, and he was really excited about it. And I didn't want to burst his bubble by saying, hey, you're just putting yourself in the same stupid situation. So instead, I told him, hey, I work with a lot of others that have experienced the same problem, right? And they want to make sure that they're never in this position again to get fired and not know what's going on and have to scout around and hop from job to job and not be in control of their own future. And this is the solution to the problem. This is how I add value. So we spent a long time talking. He's got like some big inheritance or something. So he's looking at the How Money Works book. He's not interested directly in the business, but I wasn't trying to be direct with him. And out of that, he wanted to see all of our information. He's actually a recruiter too, but he recruits for something different. So he's going to give me some referrals. We're keeping an open line of communication. I let him know that I'll definitely follow up to make sure he received the book and get his feedback about the book. You just never know like where these conversations are going to go. I could have been super confrontational with him and been like, you're dumb and you're just putting yourself in the same position, but I didn't. I took kind of a softer, indirect way to the same point. So indirectly, he still understood what I was saying to him. So just remember, it's not all going to be like one touch or one close. You don't know, what kind of value you're going to provide for somebody in the future, if they're going to circle back around, if he's going to get laid off again in a month or whatever. You just never know. So just remember, be nice to people and build that rapport. And you just never know where it's going to lead to, So anyways, add value. That's really, if you take one thing away from anything I ever say, it would just be add value to others. Once you figure out how we can help those people, that's where the value lies. So anyways, I'm a strong believer of being at the right place at the right time and, taking action right now. So that's all I have. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and grab Mike.
Okay, you guys, last couple of weeks, we really went through that. Week before last, we went through the whole psychology of marketing. And then the following week, which was last week, we went through the psychology of recruiting, how to get what you want, how to ask for what you want, how to negotiate certain types of things. So those are in the YouTube channel as always. And then what I've also tried to do is break some of this stuff down for you guys lately. So today, July is usually a time of the year where people are out of school, they're starting to vacation, do the normal things where they're disconnected. This is a weird year, so I'm not sure. What I will tell you, though, is anything you do right now can have an immediate impact on your business, but it can also build that pipeline for, some of those fall months, which are notoriously some of the busiest and best months for us in the industry, in our business, and our model, et cetera. A lot of people are going to be on the move, and you want to capture some of that both on the money side and the people side. A couple of things that when you bring a partner in is just spend a few minutes with them making sure they can do two very basic things. Number one is a screen share, and number two is a three-way call. If they need your help on a call, they need to know how to connect it without making 13 attempts and giving up. Same thing on a screen share. You need to be able to join a screen share, which as they start to go through training, they will, but they also need to know how to host a screen share. And those are very basic things, but it will help tremendously in the way that we look when we're out there marketing and talking to potential clients and partners. Remember, this is no longer a traditional model that we're in. So the traditional ways that we make a good first impression, it's not what we do anymore. So we need to transfer that and say, okay, how do we make the good first impression in the virtual world? Well, it's really what you say, how you say it, understanding your business assets, just the command of simple technology, and the organization of your presentation. This is going to give you that first impression that comes off very clean, very positive. We've got a bunch of stuff that makes you look good in the marketplace, not only from a visual standpoint, but from a mission standpoint as well. We'll get into that. But understand, what you need to do to make that good first impression in the virtual world. And then also, you're going to be building out. You're going to be making increased income. You're going to have people that are going to start to ask you questions as you start to build these offices. You can only BS your way through this for so long. So start to take the necessary steps so that you're not lagging behind in the management role when you get there. One of the things that you can do immediately, all the partners, whether you make zero or whether you make a lot of money in that pay period, check it out. Go to your back end, the commission summary, commission statement, find out what you're making, make sure you're paid correctly, and then understand how you get paid so that other people as they come in can ask you. Because if you can break things down in a simplistic way and help people understand how they made X amount, then it will help them be confident in their ability to go forward, figure this out on their own, and kind of pay it forward. So one of the things that you have to understand is your cash flow. How do you get paid? And how does that make sense? And how do you break that down? Like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, the YouTube channel, there was a lot of meetings in there with a lot of information, but it was getting hard to find stuff and dissect stuff. So I've started segmenting stuff out. We just did the LinkedIn algorithm. We did Facebook and stories of transformation, and the build, engage, sell is your daily activities. Those are the first three to be segmented from the team meetings. So we'll continue to do that so that your partners as well as you have quicker and easier and cleaner access to that material. Also, a good thing that we've got going on that will be by the time next Wednesday rolls around, our team meeting, we'll have a link out where you guys can actually access and download our SMD channel. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some stuff in there that we're using that you can have immediate access to build some more in-depth campaigns on the email side and just kind of understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and having immediate access. We'll, just continue to fill that channel up with more and more and more stuff you guys have access to. So just like the virtual financial channel that was downloaded, you'll be able to download an access channel for us as well. And that'll be available, like I said, by next Wednesday around this time. 12-week year this past week, our WHAM groups landed on 4th of July. Out of respect for the holiday, we just did an email string. Basically, we just kind of went through a summary. First week was vision, what's going to drive you and motivate you. Second week was goals. What are you trying to get done in a specific period of time? Week 3 was the tactics. That's your roadmap, how you're going to get to the goals. And this week we just kind of tied it all together, figured out how we're doing so far. Really, this time management system is about fixing yourself with some self-development, but then also once that's done, starting to achieve more in a small compressed time period than most do on annual terms. So if you are with us in this process, then great. If you're not, you can be ready for the next 12-week year. You can get the book. If you don't want to participate on a group setting, you can do it individually, but it will help you. And the more advantage and the more advantages you can get in the marketplace and over your competition, sometimes your competition can be yourself, right? Then, the bigger and the more exponential your business starts to grow. Really, it comes down to, if you want to identify one thing that we all have to get better at, it's not leaving it up to the other side. Because if you leave it up to other people to schedule a follow-up, yeah, let's do it next week. Let's do it after the holiday. Let's do it next month. I'm busy right now. You can see how things get procrastinated and they get pushed out. You got to be in charge of things. You got to be the aggressive one, and you've got to direct people. Most people want to be led. If there's no roadmap, or there's no call to action, there's no command actions for them to follow, they're not going to follow. And somebody's going to win out on those phone conversations. It has to be you. You have to lead the other party into the next steps, whether it be action steps, whether it be, the next follow-up meeting, whatever it might be. If you leave it up to the other side to get back to you or to schedule things, nothing's going to happen. Remember, right now with COVID and everything that's going on, there's a great migration of people and money that are on the move. So the conversations that we open and the way that we open our conversations allows people to talk about what's going on. That uncovers information that leads to problems that we offer solutions and action steps for. We're not going into a conversation pitching. We're going into a conversation to uncover information. None of this makes sense to their side until you actually find out what do they want. That's an important part of prospecting. Takes the pressure off of you. You're not coming from a salesman or saleswoman mentality, but you're coming from a mentality where you're just out there opening conversations. And by doing that, watch what happens with your business. As you start to open conversations, you can put yourself in uncomfortable situations by trying to upgrade your network. Maybe get outside the comfort zone. Maybe start to have conversations with people who have more skill sets than you, have been more successful than you. That will help grow your business. If you upgrade your network, that's the number one rule of money. Watch what happens on the inside in terms of the client conversations, partner conversations, and the growth on both sides of the fence. So don't be afraid to put yourself in a vulnerable position where you're in front of somebody that maybe is a little bit intimidating. It's a good sign for your growth. You want to look at right now as a rebirth. And let's be honest about what's going on this year. We have COVID. You have a lot of geopolitical tension. The environment is kind of very distracting right now. So you want to look at this opportunity as a rebirth. And every once in a while, we have to give ourselves like a hockey check and say, okay, what's happened over X period of time? What did I accomplish? And then going forward, how do I either build on that momentum or how do I reset? Well, for a lot of people, there needs to be a reset because the first 6 months, we might have started strong, but trust me, there's been a lot of distractions and there's been a lot of obstacles that people have to overcome in a lot of different areas of their life right now. So the first 6 months of here might have been a little bit blurry, might not have gotten what we needed to get done, but we can kind of reset, figure out what is it that's holding us back. Sometimes you just got to disconnect from the news a little bit and go back to concentrating on things that can directly help you. And that directly has a positive, ripple effect and impact on what you're doing on the partner and client side. So what's holding you back right now? What happened first half of this year? And let's kind of do a self-inventory and realize what's holding us back. And let's start to correct that. Usually it's a number of things, but 5 big ones: lack of clarity, lack of motivation, the wrong associations, bad habits, and self-doubt. Out of all those, your life is going to be determined by the habits that you form. So I think the associations inside this business are good. I think that we have a business opportunity that with the right vision should motivate us. We should have clarity in what we're doing. Self-doubt comes from, I think, developing, not the right type of habits. The right habits compounded over a period of time gets you results. That builds self-confidence. That creates a leadership mentality for you because you've already done it. You've already trailblazed. Now you can go out and set the path for other people. So this second half of the year, July, August, September, October, November, heading into December, where are we going to be year end? I think the clarity should be on point. I think we should correct whatever happened for us personally in the first half of the year with our business and go forward and really don't let the consistency fall off. Go into the back half of this year, develop a number of months, string them together that are consistent, that are productive, that you're on top of, and let's see what happens, because in this model, remember, guys, you're not restricted by really anything. So once we hit that viral point, once we hit that exponential growth, there's nothing that stops this. There's no point of resistance for scalability. So once you get it going in a positive way, there's nothing that can stop that ball from rolling downhill and picking up momentum. You've been working, if you've been in this company for a couple of years now, you've been working up towards, gaining skill sets, becoming a better, person in that assembly line, whether it's the manager, the inviter, or the consultant or financial professional. If you work at something, you're going to get better at it. If you don't, you're going to grind yourself into a motivational hole. So if you find yourself stuck with results, let's check out what's been going on, because there's usually an answer to the front side activity. Either it's not directed in something or into something that's getting you investment, or there's too little of something going into something that would give you a return on your investment. So let's look at what's going on. Remember, growth mindset is what you have. Even in the worst of days, worst of weeks, keep the growth mindset, because the fixed mindset starts to restrict you and contract you. And if you're not growing, you're really dying. That's on a personal side and the business side. So how do I win going forward? How do I take the next 6 months, whether I've been around for one day or multiple years in this company, and how do I win at this point? Well, your confidence level should be high because of what we have to offer, the way that we look, our assets, our partnerships, our infrastructure, the amount of help that somebody gets coming in here. So whether you know all about the business or, you're brand new, confidence level should be high in terms of what you have to offer the marketplace. And then when you realize how we actually approach that marketplace in a non-threatening way, confidence level should be high enough to go out there and do what we need you to do in the beginning, which is only one thing: open conversations. We'll close them for you. Another area of confidence should come from the fact that you're in a good position. If you came into virtual financial, you understand, you're able to see things develop ahead of the curve a little bit and understand, okay, I see where this industry should be heading. I see that the lack of movement in this industry over the last, X number of years has created for us a first mover advantage. So when you have an established market like financial services, you have a disruptive business model that's going to bring innovation and change market value, there's an area of disruption. And that's a new wealth creation opportunity. So the disruption that's happening all around us, and we're applying to this industry and this model, the distribution point of this model, being virtual, having the industry and the infrastructure to support it, and the products and services needed. When you put all this together, like I said, you may not know about all the tiers, you may not know about all the products, all the ways that our business actually works, but you should know that you're in a good position. And one of the things that you can confidently go out there and talk about is, why are you in the company? Remember, people are going to buy into your why. Why did you do this? It's not going to be their exact why, maybe totally different from their why, but people appreciate why you do what you do. Another thing that will give you self-confidence, another thing that you need to understand if you're going to win in this game, you can't start and stop. I've seen people come in this business and do, just a huge amount of work over a 90-day cycle and then basically just slow it down for a period of time. It has to be a consistent rhythm. You don't run a mile and then lay down, or run a mile and lay down. I'd rather you jog 4 or 5 miles. Same thing here. There's no brake pads here. Once you start, you should have a consistent rhythm of activity, because as you build your business, people are going to be looking to you for an example, and people are going to be looking to you for some help as you create what you hope will be independent agencies out of this. But no interruptions in your rhythm of activity. So whether you're given 15 hours a week or 60 hours a week, do it consistently. And remember, you'll win if you understand what you're going through. You're not going to know everything about digital marketing coming in. You're not going to know everything that you need to know to build a multi-million-dollar business, but you need to understand that you've got the help, and this is a school. You're going to get paid to go to school. You earn a degree in disruption, distribution, and digital marketing, all great skill sets to have right now. And your degree can earn you decades or lifetime income. So understand what you're doing here. Understand it's a process. Understand your time is being invested into your future. You're not trading time for money like a W-2 employee. And if you understand that, go back to what's going to work for you. Go back to a system that's a defined blueprint of how to access all the streams of income, how to build, and how to have an actual exit strategy. It's going to give you a cash flow asset that pays off passive income for, long periods of time. Remember, the system is going to create independence for you. Without a system, you're going to have a bunch of people doing different things. That's never going to create the type of nationwide distribution that you're looking for. So, be successful, but be humble enough to submit to something that we know is going to work for you. Inside the system, you've got ways that you control business activity in a very defined way, and you've got ways that you open up marketing activities that give you more leeway in terms of what you're doing. On the front side of this business model, you're pretty free to do whatever you want. As long as it's compliant, as long as you're not getting us in trouble, you're free to do what you want to do, and that's a great opportunity to open up that personal brand and do a lot of the things that we tell you to do, because virtual financial, wealth wave, the system, the marketing is all great, but you're even better. So your personal brand is the marketing activities, and that's going to allow you to do one thing in the beginning: open conversations at the top of this circle. That's all you're required to do in the beginning, and we'll close business for you. We'll interview partners if they're qualified, train them, support them. But this is going to open up your entire business, partners and clients, and it just comes from learning how to talk to people. It's the front door of your business. And once you understand that, so if you have little to no tier one contact and confirms going on, what that essentially means if you're a traditional business is you decided not to open that day. Lock doors, lights off, versus having enough of that where your doors are open and people are actually coming into your business. And through that, you're going to have transactions on the client side. You're going to have interviews and hires on the partner side. The more that you introduce your business, the more opportunity you have people to come through the front doors. And another way that you can greatly expand your reach, and another one of our advantages, is because, once again, if we had a territorial restricted office or string of offices, local social media will have a little bit of value for us. But when you're talking about setting up shop anywhere that you want to virtually, social media has great value for us. So if you have little or no experience with social media, we do now, and we can lead you in the right way, and it will greatly expand your business. It's not going to be a 0 to 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. It's going to be a process. But once again, the compounding factor of doing a little bit of this stuff every day is going to pay off. Like we said, you're a brand, guys, and if you're constantly pitching products, if you're constantly pitching companies, that's not your brand. People want to know about who you are. They want to know, what you're all about. So you need to have a focus. You need to be genuine, be authentic, learn how to tell stories in the marketplace, be consistent, be ready and willing to fail. The big part of everything you do from the beginning is you're going to fail, and you're going to have mistakes that you learn from. But if you're not willing to go through that process, you're not going to get to the other side, which is the successful side of digital marketing and branding. Create a positive impact. Don't be that person that's constantly recycling negative stuff, being a negative person, making the negative comments. You want to be uplifting, inspirational, and motivational. Follow successful examples. Find out people that you like, that you would follow, what they're doing, and mimic it. Live your brand. Let other people help tell your story, and have fun with this. Guys, this is about you. This is about telling your story. Have fun with it. Be vulnerable. Learn to laugh at yourself. Have a good time with this. It's not supposed to be something that's dreaded. And from all this process, like I said, the tier one is going to do everything that we need. It's going to create awareness for what you're doing. It's going to create a certain percentage of interest. It's going to demand a decision and an action step. And this is very important. It's not just about having multiple conversations that go absolutely nowhere. It's about a defined system that leads us to decision and action if there's interest on the front side. And that action could be, I'm not interested, but it demands the action point. And what that's going to do for you is going to build a foundation. And once that foundation's in place, you can start to build, very, very deep and very, very wide, with knowing exactly what everybody else is doing. And that is a huge advantage over the rest of the industry. Remember, your growth is going to come from contacts and conversations. And it's not some long sales script. It's not a lot of rebuttaling. It's about opening conversations, getting to know people, and finding out what's on their mind. And by doing that, like I said, it helps us on the backside figure out, can we help this person on the business side? Can we help this person on the client side? If so, I'm going to interject at some point in the conversation with a solution to their problem and then a roadmap that leads back to me in some way. You've got to be structured in these phone calls. Don't just wing it. The questions that we put out there, you should have in front of you. It's easy to go through a conversation if you're not overpowering, if you don't have some long script, if you're not trying to just defeat them, bring them down to their knees to get a credit card or something. It's the exact opposite. You're asking questions, you're writing down answers, and from that, they're going to get information. This is not very hard, what we developed. It's pretty easy once you put it into place. Our message sequence and the way that we handle conversations is based on, even if you were brand new, being able to control the conversation through questions, asking questions. And by showing interest in other people, it automatically builds interest in what you're doing. Like I said, a lot of people, a lot of money will be on the move now and in the future. Easiest way to understand what people are doing, why they're doing it, and how you fit into that possibly is to ask questions. If your conversation with that person is not going to continue in the future for any reason at all, we've got another question that we answer. This is our salutation. This is our closing to the conversation if no expected communication in the future is going to happen. One last question, if you don't mind me asking, do you pay out of pocket for term life insurance? If they answer yes, well, you have a possible upgrade situation from traditional to living benefits. If they say no, then you also have the opportunity to open a conversation about an insurable need with living benefits. Do they know about living benefits? We hope to get your partners, if they're asking this enough, per month, 3 to 5 easy sales off this. And depending on the premium, it could be several $1,000s a month just off this one question. So if you have enough of this stuff in place where this is giving me a few thousand, this is giving me a few thousand, the trickle effect of having 5, 6 legs that are doing something for you financially speaking, it grows your business for you. And it gets you cash flow that you can pay yourself and invest back into your business for marketing. If you're not asking this question, leaving very easy sales on the table, there are millions of traditional policies that need to be upgraded within the next decade. How many people will you reach? How many of those will be yours? Those are easy sales. You're not asking for anything more than reallocating funds to a better vehicle. It is a better financial step for them, and it makes sense. Most people see it instantly. Remember, guys, 2 sides to your business. Don't neglect one side over the other. It's a very fluid situation. You don't have to be targeted. This person can only be this. You can lead one way and find out it comes back another way in terms of partner or client. Really, for you starting out, you should have a goal for yourself of 3 clients and 3 partners. If you do that, your business will grow, and from that individual growth, you'll start having organizational growth. People will see that, people will follow your lead, and then you'll start to build your business. This will also bring in direct income for you and get your organizational growth going with the partnerships. Out of that 3 partner, we start to build a base shop of 10. Out of that base shop of 10, you're going to have certain people that are coached, trained, supported, mentored, knowing the system that can go out and do this on their own. For you helping, on the front end, you're going to get paid on the back end for that. If you're not doing your 30%, if you're not putting in your 3 per month and you get down to 7-0 or something, well, that was your fault. If you're getting the 3, you should have partners coming in that start to help you with the rest of this 10. This will fuel everything you need on the agency development side. And we developed a system that no matter where you go into, if you're cold marketing, if you're social media marketing, we reward you with warm market lead generation. What does that look like? And why did we set it up? We set it up because we know that going out and finding qualified people, going through the numbers, it's not the easiest experience. We want to reward you for that, reward your partners as well. As people come in, between the Tier 4 and the Tier 6, we ask them to do 2 things, basically, set up and learn the CRM. By the time they get to the Tier 6, have 20 names in there of somebody that might be interested in the business or might be needing client services. At a base level, what we want from that is to work those 20 leads and let the partner have a good understanding about how the CRM works, notes, adding people, et cetera, accessing calendars. That's a base level. If they get a partner out of that, if they get some client services out of that, that's income coming into them, that's growth, that's going to get them excited. But for you as the builder, you've taken the time to identify somebody, bring them through the entire circle. We're going to get you 20 leads on the back of that. Now, who knows what comes out of that, but those are 20 warm market leads. And going back to the base shop growth, if it's 10, and all 10 of those people are able to get fully trained, that's 200 warm market leads in your office just from the system growth. So understand what we do. Now, if you're cheating yourself, you're cheating your partners and not helping them through this process, then you're losing lead generation, you're losing revenue, you're losing income, and you're losing growth. Fight for your future. This is not so much for us as a team. This is what we talk about in the open marketplace. This is an opportunity where there's a lot of ways that people can make decisions that will significantly alter their future in a positive way, or vice versa, if they don't make some necessary changes, can significantly alter their future in a negative way. So we're asking people on the partner and the client side to fight for your future right now. Start to make some decisions today that can greatly impact you and your family's future. Remember, out in the marketplace, everybody can, they know what they do. Most know how they do it. Very few can articulate in a clear and concise way why you do what you do. For you personally, you need to be able to do that. And from a company level, you need to do that. We have two main missions, why we do what we do. Number one, how money works, financial literacy. Number two is the employee to entrepreneur. That's what we do. We're trying to raise up people through both of those missions. That's why we do what we do. And then on the backside, you have certain reasons why you get up and do this every day. You'll want to articulate that to your audience as well. Remember, successful businesses, rich get rich by solving a problem or serving a need. If you look at every crisis that happens, there's opportunity born out of those crises. And when you're able to go in the marketplace and serve problems, and your problem is something like financial literacy and $1 trillion industry, it's a big opportunity. So understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it. Understand what that means for you as a revenue and income possibility. Our cause and our mission is linked up with that book and that media tour. People will buy into the why. What's your mission? All the generations, millennials, Gen X, boomers, they all buy into a mission. So you can articulate why we're doing what we're doing, why we're hiring to help with the growth of our message and spread of that message, or what we're doing on the client side during this time, free services, free financial education. We walk people through master classes. Our goal is to change the course of the financial literacy for the average American. It's something that's inherited. And if you guys were on the Wealth Wave training today, the 360 training, like Alana said, that happens an hour before our meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, there was a video. They went out in the Vegas Strip a couple years ago and asked people where they got most of their financial knowledge from. Parents inside the house. Well, if we're brought up in a poor or a middle-class family, we're going to inherit the beliefs of the poor and the middle class. What we need to do in the marketplace is understand we need to break that mindset. We need to take a new path. And if you're passionate about what we're doing on the mission side for the E to E and how money works, you will make money here. Financial literacy is a big problem. Just not knowing how to manage personal finances costs the American public over $300 billion that could be invested back into their future, their retirement, their kids' education, whatever it might be. So never diminish or put any type of a discount on what you do because it's very needed. We're asking people to just take a new look and have a new mindset about money and make simple changes. You're not asking them to rearrange. You're not asking them to make major changes to their standard of living. Just make simple changes. Understand how money works, the flow of money, and put yourself in a better position to think and act so that money is working for you and not against you. That's the only thing that we're asking through our educational process is do things differently and reap the rewards. We're trying to build a better customer experience. One of the ways that you can win is by doing that. If you can build a better customer experience, education on the front side, nice presentations, nice look, then you will win out with brand recognition. And when you get people talking about your brand, who you are, what you're doing outside of your direct marketing, that is gold in the marketplace. So a better consumer or customer experience, it starts with going back to our mission and the 7 money milestones in that book, how they line up with the 6 building blocks in the F&A and what we do. And we all have different ways that we can extract value out of each of these blocks and milestones. And when you're able to do that in a way that makes sense to their side, once again, in a clear, concise way, not overwhelming them with a bunch of words that are meaningless to them, starts to make sense. Oh, okay, if I do this, I can have this. And it always goes back to either a goal, something they want, or some type of problem they want to avoid. You're bringing solutions, whether you're a marketer, whether you're a manager, or whether you're a consultant. Learn how to talk about solutions to either known problems or perceived problems. Product and services are a way that solution solves the problem. but you have to come in with the actual solution. And if the solution is on the partner side, guys, we have great opportunity here. Part-time, full-time, business ownership, like Alana was talking about earlier with those trips. If you combine the 4 streams of income that we have, personal income, agency income, expansion income, and bonus income, a couple all-expense paid trips per year, it's a pretty nice package if you get this thing rolling, and it's not hard to, and it comes back to selling your vision. You have to be able to go in front of people and hopefully upgrade your network, get in front of some successful people, maybe some people that intimidate you, and sell them on your vision. You know, leaders don't force people to follow. They're just inviting them on a journey. So you want to paint that picture of what you're trying to accomplish, who you're looking to work with, and sell that vision. The right people, when you develop the right persona with the right message, they will start to buy into your vision if this is done correctly. And really the vision is about solving a problem in a new way that creates freedom for us. Lifestyle freedom, time freedom. We work towards financial freedom with a huge positive ripple effect in multiple directions in terms of what we do. Big problem being solved in a new way. And what that does for us, it creates a digital marketing opportunity and a very large industry with a very big client need based on a distribution model that builds you a cash flow asset that will lead you to business ownership that has no point of resistance for scalability and little to no barriers to entry. The opportunity comes from the sweat equity. Somebody's willing or not willing to invest in this business. That's really where your growth is going to come from because everything's been lined up for you. You just have to use the infrastructure and use the partnerships and build it. Remember, part of that goes back to understanding who you want. And you're looking for people to help you build distribution because production, that's something that is in a constant state. There's no escape from production. If it's all on your shoulders every single day, you get sick, you get hurt, you take a vacation, guess what? The income stops. Now, in this industry, you can build years building a book of business, and that'll pay you for a period of time, dwindle over a period of time. Distribution is king, especially in this industry. When you learn how to build distribution, you learn how to build something you can walk away from that's secure, that pays you, and opens up all these other doors for your life that other people that are constantly chasing leads, making sales, trying to make the mortgage payment are locked into a box that they never escape. So you're looking for dedicated distribution partners. People aren't interested in building distribution, probably not going to have a good time being surrounded by infrastructure and people that are. This is your territory. And when somebody understands that, it should be pretty exciting. I can build coast-to-coast, nationwide distribution of financial services in a multi-trillion-dollar industry with $1 billion IMO platform to absorb it and all the assets, infrastructure that I need to get going from day one. Pretty exciting. If that doesn't excite somebody, talk to somebody else that is excited about it on the partner side. Another thing that you have to understand is when you talk to people, my very first filter is this. It's the cash flow quadrant. If somebody's an employee and they're happy being an employee, great. I don't need to do anything other than maybe offer some client services. On the other quadrant here, if they are self-employed, they own a job, and they don't understand that's not business ownership, or they're happy in that quadrant, great. This is a great place to concentrate on client services because they're usually wearing multiple hats, and they don't have the same structured outlines as an employee with 401ks, group, life insurance, group health insurance, et cetera. So this is a great quadrant, but you're not trying to pull a self-employed and make them a business owner. You're trying to look for people who are already on this side or that are making the transition or looking to make the bridge over to the side. So the cash flow quadrant is my first filter. If I'm not talking to the right type of persona on the partner side, they don't get it or they're happy where they are, instantly pivot over to client services. Don't waste your time. You can't change people. You're just looking for the right type of person. And it goes back to what do they want. If they're already on this side or they're looking to make this transition, what do they want? Because everything that we have is really meaningless on the front side until you figure out what do they want. When you figure out what they want and you can build them a roadmap to get them there, it starts making sense. Oh, this is how I do it. Then they start being able to, in their mind, start to be able to make a commitment for what you're asking them to do. Both sides can commit to something and agree. That's a negotiation process. That's what you're doing out there in the marketplace. Remember, the disruption that we're bringing creates new value, but it's not always going to be the same value for me, you, and potential partners. They might have something that they find this disruption brings new value to their life versus something that you might find. Yes, we have disruption and new creation of market value inside the industry, but our disruption also opens up freedoms for our partners. There'll be different ones for different people they gravitate towards, but understand what our model does and how to present that in a way. And that just goes back, what does somebody want? You got to be able to list all of this stuff in a very kindergarten, elementary, Sesame Street simple format. Understand what their pain points are. Be empathetic sometimes, but understand somebody's unwilling to change and they're unhappy where they are. Well, guess what? They're going to continue to be there, continue to be unhappy. There's nothing we can do for those people. But like I said, find out what people want and lay it out in a very elementary way how they can get it. You got to find motivation. And I was watching on the History Channel. I think there's a great example, the cars that made America. And they were talking about in the late 70s, you know, all the American car manufacturers were not doing well, but Chrysler was basically a dumpster fire. It was in the pit. Well, Henry Ford II fires Lee Iacocca from Ford. Chrysler tries to come in and tries to, you know, get him in there. Hey, we can give you control. We can give you this, that. It does nothing for him until they bring up the fact he has a chance to crush Ford. That was his motivating factor for taking over Chrysler, getting that $1 billion loan from the government, developing the minivan, and really taking Chrysler back to, you know, prominence in the American car industry. That all stemmed from somebody being able to pinpoint Lee Iacocca's motivation for doing this. The motivation is going to be different from everybody. When you get good at identifying motivation and identifying what people actually want and building them a roadmap to get there, watch what happens for your business. The wow factor is going to be different. The wow factor is something that somebody wants, and our business can offer a lot of wow factors, but it needs to be personalized for whatever they want. What is it they want? Can I help get them there? And then the last thing is, are they willing to make the sacrifices along the way to get there? You know, on the client side, that's a monetary investment usually. On the partner side, that can be, you know, 5 years of going through, you know, training, support, learning, developing. But it gets people what they want if it's all lined up correctly. And then once you have them in here, this is a leadership factory. You're trying to create yourself as a leader and have other people come behind you. That's going to create the independence from you. So you need to lead by example, and that goes back to the daily activities that you do. You need to know how to mentor. You need to know how to bring people around to create teamwork in the assembly line that works for everybody. You need to know how to win, and you need to know on the other side how to do so in a way that inspires coaches with a vision around what we want to do as a company, and then inside that, what that personal vision is for the partner. This is all you got to do. They're going to be very dependent on you in the beginning. They're going to be like babies. They're going to need everything. They're not going to know how to log into stuff. They're going to forget their login. They're going to forget everything that you went through training. It's okay. It's a lot coming at them. If you're going to get upset and be that type of person that doesn't want to pick up the phone and answer questions, you're never going to get to these next stages because you've neglected the partner when they needed you most. They're going to be dependent on you. At a certain point, after that hand-holding, they can start to do some of this on their own. You're going to coach and mentor them. And a certain percentage at some point will be independent. That's what you're looking for. How many independent digital agencies can you crank out over X period of time and build your portfolio that's going to be worth a good amount of money to you? Master the art of execution. As you go through this, you're going to learn things, you're going to implement them, you're going to test them, you're going to fail them. The ultimate goal here is to get to a point where you're executing at a high level daily and letting that compound over a period of time while simultaneously letting people watch that example and actually implementing that into their own lives as well. We're trying to create generations of partners that have a better experience than we did both a number of years ago as well as the partners coming in today. We continue to get better. We continue to build our resources, our knowledge, and we continue to put ourselves in a better position to help people. The last thing that we want to make sure that we do, if we're going to, go outside and look at this month or look at this year, divide it up, first half, second half. We're going to go into the second half with a newfound kind of rebirth, a concentration level that's going to get us through year end. You've got to step outside your comfort zone. And that's a lot of what this is talking about is going out and doing stuff, making yourself vulnerable, putting yourself out there, because when you do that, you break outside the comfort zone. That's where everything's going to start happening for you. That's where you're going to have growth on the personal side, the business side, self-confidence, leadership ability, and that's really, in this business, your main goal. We're a leadership factory. Once you're able to do all this, and once you're able to execute at a high level, there's nothing stopping your business from just growing and growing and growing and growing. So we go in and out on these presentations and these team meetings. We go through some very detailed information followed by some general information. Kind of wanted to reset the year for you guys at this point right now. Go into the next number of months dedicated, understanding what you're looking for, and understanding how to get your message out to the right people. Percentage of people will raise their hand.
Mike, that was a really phenomenal training. I hope you all enjoyed it and got as much out of it as I did. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then we'll open up the floor for any questions or anything that anybody else has to share. Thank you.